This is the city of Lancaster, and these gates you see behind me belong to the Lancaster Livestock Auction. Now they've shut for the last time. The site belongs to the Lancaster Corporation, and the buildings are shortly to be demolished to make way for a new development scheme. These pens, which have teemed over the years with millions of head of stock, now stand empty. The auction sale ring is deserted. In this office, thousands of pounds changed hands each week. And in the cafe, hundreds of cups of tea and coffee were drunk by visiting farmers.
For years there's been talk of a new auction, but finally, in the spring of 1964, the Lancaster Farmers Auction Mart Company signed a £147,000 contract for the building of a new market to the east of the city.
The site chosen for the new market is at the corner of Golgotha and Wyresdale Road, just below Williamson's Park. The initial site clearance was done by the Lancaster Corporation, but when the contractors arrived, it was found that further levelling was necessary, so heavy earth-moving machinery was brought onto the site to complete this work. Only when this further levelling was completed could the site be marked out and the initial foundations put in. The new market was an ambitious project. As well as having extensive housing for the various types of stock, blocks of shops, offices and banks were planned for the convenience of clients attending the sales. As well as a snack bar, a large restaurant was built on top of the office block with a fully equipped kitchen capable of producing meals for a large number of people. In all, 61,000 exterior bricks, 10,000 black bricks, 120,000 common bricks, and 260,000 common facing bricks were used, making a total of 451,000 bricks throughout the whole building. Owing to the curved nature of the auction ring, careful measuring was necessary in order to make sure that the steel girder work would fit properly. It speaks very highly for the quality of the construction that when the final measurements were taken, the first rounds of the foundations were found to be only 1/8 of an inch out of true. The drainage system contains 1.25 miles of 4 and 6-inch tiles. Modern building methods are evident in the type of construction, where the skeleton steelwork carries the weight of the roof and floor, leaving the exterior and interior walls with no strain whatever. The main stock shed measures 363 feet by 96 foot, and the walls and roof contain 100 tons of steel. Iron pillar supports in the main office block and restaurant were given a thick coating of concrete for added strength. With the steelwork now in position for the main office block and the stock shed, the whole layout of the building became more apparent. In order to cope with the terrific demand for concrete and cement, a giant silo and mixer was erected on the site. The silo has a capacity of 30 tons of cement, and the mixer in a working day is capable of producing 60 cubic yards of concrete. A view from the uncompleted top of the office block gives a good idea of the size of the main stock shed, and also the depth of the sail ring. The roofing of the stock shed with asbestos sheets was completed very rapidly indeed, and it wasn't long before work could begin in earnest on the interior fitments. As soon as the interior division walls were completed and faced, a gang followed up behind, and with the aid of an extra cement mixer, laid the final covering of concrete upon the floor. Whilst work continued on the interior of the stock shed, both the auction sale ring and the office block had reached the stage where the roof could be put on. The roof consists of hundreds of concrete lintels, which were then covered with bitumen tar and felt. It wasn't long before the floor of the stock shed was completed, and work then began on installing the tubular steel stock pens. The building was now taking its final shape, and the finishing touches were being put to the outside. The sale ring itself was now waiting for completion of the seating and the auctioneer's box. In the roof over the ring, a large glazed skylight was installed to make sure that maximum light would fall on the backs of the stock being sold. A better view of the exterior of the building could now be obtained when the builder's scaffolding had been removed. The car park is situated on 2 levels, and a stonemason was set to work building a stone retention wall at the side of the drive leading up to them.
We're rigging next week.
The interior was now nearing completion as the last of the steelwork was installed. In order that the shed may be cleansed thoroughly after each sale, a large electrically driven water pumping station was put in. The interior of the office block now began to take shape as the plasterers moved in to face the walls. The office and restaurant are heated by an automatic system of underfloor electric heating. A total of 180,000 feet of underfloor cabling was laid, then covered with cement, and finally tiled. Although the original contract was supposed to be completed in 52 weeks, various delays added a further 2 months to this period, and one of the final jobs to be done before the opening day was the surfacing of the 2 car parks. However, our friend with the wall still had a long way to go. Although there was a considerable amount of work yet to be done, the first sale was held in the New Market on the 31st of May, 1965. The normal Monday fat stock sale was supplemented by a prize show and attracted a good entry of stock. A large crowd of farmers from all over the north attended to witness the first sale. The following day, Tuesday the 1st of June, was to be the official inauguration day, and the opening ceremony was performed by Mr. Udell, the manager of the branch of Martin's Bank in Lancaster.
I therefore thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and have great pleasure in declaring the mart officially open.
The opening ceremony was accompanied by a prize show and sale of new calf and in-calf cattle. The championship was won by Mr. Tom Whitworth from Cockerham, who received his championship prize, a rose bowl, from the Lady Mayor of Lancaster. The championship animal, a newly calved cow, was subsequently sold for £150. Apart from the building of a new block of shops and offices, the new auction is complete and fully operational. The final cost looks like exceeding £200,000. Among the farming community, it has had a mixed reception. Some feel it is badly sited, being so far from the main shopping centre of the city. Others are of the opinion that in view of the amount of money it has cost, it is questionable whether it can ever be made to pay. However, only time will tell.